before social distancing measures were introduced in the United Kingdom. Viewers sensitive to flashing images and strobe lighting are reminded that this broadcast contains such special effects. There's no way we can ever match the excitement of a Eurovision semi-final. But with 180 jury members and an international community of fans watching live tonight, we can sure as hell try by celebrating 17 incredible songs together.
So, will your country perform in the Grand Final, or does your journey end here?
Hello and welcome to the first semi-final of Eurojury 2020. Got some incredible songs, all looking for a place in the Grand Final.
That's absolutely right, and you can have your say at home. Once we've heard all of the songs tonight, you will have a chance to vote for your favourite, and we will close the lines later on and we'll find out which of the 10 songs qualify to the Grand Final.
So let's get on with it. Tonight, we'll see 17 songs that were set to compete in the first semi-final of this year's Eurovision Song Contest. And by the end of this evening's broadcast, 10 of them will have a place in the Grand Final of Eurojury 2020. Our professional jury of over 180 entertainment industry professionals have already cast their votes, and now it's over to you watching at home to have your say. Head over to eurojury.eurovoix.com during tonight's broadcast to vote for your favourite 3 songs, selecting your 8 points, 10 points, and of course, your 12 points. The public vote is open right now and will close later on in the show once we've seen clips of all 17 entries. So, with plenty of music, chat, and a few surprises to come, let's kick things off with song number 1. So the Mamas for Sweden this year.
Again.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, of course they were there last year with John Lundberg. And then they opened the first semi-final of Melfest this year, which was really exciting.
Well, no, it's really funny because obviously they didn't need to bother with any of the rest of it.
Well, that's true, yeah. First one's up, and the other 26, 27 or however many, redundant, needing to bother turning up.
I don't know what you feel about that song, because I absolutely love Move. I think, I don't know, I've said this to a few people, it sounds like, if you watch the film Pitch Perfect, it sounds like a song that would have been written for Pitch Perfect.
It is fantastic, isn't it? And it's a one that you can sit at home and you really want to get up and move. You want to sing on, you want to clap your hands together.
I've played it to a lot of sort of non-Eurovision fans.
Yes.
They love that song.
And it wouldn't sound out of place anywhere else, would it? It doesn't, you don't instantly hear it and go, oh, it's a Eurovision track. It's just a general good vibes kind of song.
But it's one of those nice songs as well, where it's like, it's uplifting, like it's powerful, it's a nice ballad. And also, it's just really nice to see sort of the trio of them, because you can tell that they get on really well.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful song, they perform together really, really well.
Yeah, and how exciting for them to come back and get, centre stage this year. We mentioned before they were backing singers to John Lundberg last year, and they did a cracking job there, and they got a little bit of attention, but now they're back. Is the threesome, and they're getting centre stage, they're getting the attention they deserve, because they are really, really talented vocalists.
No, they are. For them to be the main event is such a good thing this year. It's such a nice thing for them. It's a shame, obviously, what's happened, but I'm sure we'll see them again. It wasn't all about the Mamas though in Melfest this year, because we had some incredible acts as part of it already.
Yeah.
We had, Robin Bengtsson was back.
Yeah.
Mahombi I was a big fan of this year. But also, the big jewel this year was Anna versus Dotter, right?
Two big names from the past. Anna's done Eurovision before.
Went less well, doesn't like to talk about it.
That's very true. Dota, also a big name from a couple of years ago, and should have really done better with that song from 2 years ago. But that was a big rivalry, wasn't it? What side of the fence were you on?
Well, the fact they were in the same semi-final was amazing as well.
And to see them both go straight to the final together.
Yes, I think you knew they were going to be direct to finalen or whatever it is you say in
Cracking
Swedish. I was Dota. I was Team Dota, easily.
From the beginning?
From the beginning. That was the song that I wanted to win Melody Festival this year. As much as I love the Mamas, I loved Bulletproof. I thought it was a really good song. It sounded a bit like Sia.
That is true, yeah, and that's a big compliment as well.
I think so.
Like that,
I don't know what Sia's doing these days. Maybe Sia is Dota. I've never seen them in the same room. Who knows?
There's a question to ask. But this year, it's all about the Mamas. Let's take a listen to the song. Here's Sweden. So Slovenia, their song is Voda.
Which means water.
You know a lot about Slovenia?
Means water. I've been to Slovenia.
You've been to Slovenia.
Everyone watching at home, I've been to Slovenia. I like to think of myself a bit of a Slovenian expert, even though that's the only word I know. So thankfully she named the song.
Oh, so you don't speak the language?
Don't speak the language,
so
weirdly
you
enough.
You don't know the rest of the lyrics?
Don't know the rest of the lyrics, but she wrote them herself, I think. So
I believe she did, yeah.
Good for her.
And what about the package as a whole? What about the rest of the song? Do you like it?
It's alright.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not bad. It's not a bad song. It's what you would expect from a Balkan ballad, I think.
It's a nice ballad to listen to, isn't it? She's got a really powerful vocal, but then after the cancellation of the contest, she's gone and released a revamp as well, and that's got a lot of attention as well.
It has. I think it's a lot more orchestral, or got the word wrong there. Orchestral. It's a big word for me.
You know Slovenian, but not English.
But not English. Not English. Don't like to talk about it. But yeah, the orchestral nature of the revamp is really interesting. It's interesting that she released the revamp after we found out the Eurovision wouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
you almost wonder why bother.
You like to think she would release it a couple of weeks earlier to then get a little bit more attention at the right time.
Yeah, you'd have thought so. It's I don't know. It's a weird one with Slovenia because they're a country that I always think should do much better than they do. Yeah. But anyway, let's listen to Slovenia. So the only national final you potentially have to set your alarm to watch, Australia Decides.
Yeah.
Montaigne won this year.
She did, yeah. Did you get up and watch it first of all?
I did get up and watch it, and I thought it was worth it. I thought actually, as Australia Decides goes, I think it was a really good quality of song actually.
Well, yeah, because they had their first national final last year, and then before their national final this year, they said it's going to be bigger and better.
Well, have we heard that before?
We always hear bigger and better, don't we? But it was a really nice array of songs, a little bit of something for everyone, wasn't there?
I don't know whether they could have cut down the number of songs. I think maybe 10 was too many.
Yeah.
But it was funny as well, wasn't it, watching Australia Decides, because even in Australia, hanging around like a bad smell, Monzamala.
He gets himself everywhere, doesn't he?
Every single mention of the word Eurovision, he's like a meerkat, and there he is. But the winning song, Montaigne, Don't Break Me, I think it could have done really, really well at Eurovision. We've seen Australia do really well at Eurovision, obviously, in the past. I think this could have been another example of that.
They've got a good string of results over the past few years that they've been in the contest. And Montaigne's performance itself, unique, isn't it? I've never seen the way the camera work sort of plays.
Unique is an interesting word.
Is it not the right word?
I think it is the right word.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of discussion with people about this. I feel like the costume and the outfit almost detracts from the song. I think if you just listen to the song, it's a really good song.
I've heard that as well before.
Watch her perform it.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away from it. She looks a bit like Mr. Mime, Pokemon, for anyone that knows back at home.
Yeah. Does she style herself on that character, or is it just a comparison?
I don't know if that's what she went for. I think there's going to be some sort of deeper meaning there, which was lost on me. But it was a good song. I liked the song. And Australia, they always serve up something good.
They do. Next up, Australia.
Don't break me, don't break me down, 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 down. Don't break me, only hurt me now, now, now. You thought I was elastic, but maybe I'm just made of glass. Don't break me, don't break me down. Don't break me.
Belarus now, and their song Davidna. It's by the duo Vow. One of them was on The Voice, and one of them produced the 2017 entry for Belarus.
It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it, when you come to kind of Eastern nations, where it's all a little bit all a little bit incestuous. They're all involved somehow. They've all been involved previously. They've been involved in some way at some point. But I mean, you are talking to a man that's been to Belarus.
Come on then, you've got a story or two to tell about
Not
Belarus.
many people can say.
Have we got the time for this?
I don't know if we have. I mean, if you're at home watching this, sit back, put the kettle on, because I've been talking about this for a long time. Belarus, easily one of the strangest places I will ever go in my life, and I know that already.
Go on, why were you there?
Why was I there? I was there for Junior Eurovision 2018, which was an amazing show, so well done to Belarus for putting that on. And actually, you say that, I thought after that contest, because Belarus did an amazing job of staging Junior Eurovision, they would make far more of an effort in trying to win Eurovision, because obviously take Eurovision to Minsk would be a huge thing for somebody
Amazing, wouldn't it?
for a country like Belarus. It wasn't going to happen this year, was it?
I don't think so. For me, the song is okay. There's, it's not offensive. It's good to listen to, but not a winner.
It doesn't scream, this is amazing.
No.
But like, as you say, it's a solid sort of middle of the road, middle ground.
Yeah.
I had a dream the other day about the head of Belarusian television. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you?
I did not think you were going to say that.
We had coffee together. It was quite strange. This song was not involved, unfortunately, for them. It wasn't some sort of soundtrack to my dream.
Well, there we are. Should we leave it there and take a listen?
Here's Belarus. So one of the most memorable entries from the Eurovision that never was,
Yeah.
The Roop and On Fire. I mean, they are on fire.
Oh, you're talking about Europe.
Not to be too cheesy, but they really are on fire, aren't they?
They really are, aren't they? I mean, I didn't watch the national final at all in Lithuania.
Did anybody?
It seems
If it's not in Lithuania.
I mean, I think the national final is still going on now. It goes on for that long, doesn't it?
Isn't it?
It really is, isn't it? But they were, far and away runaway favourites in that national final. I think they got over 3 times as many votes as the contestant who came second.
Yeah, no, it's
Absolutely flying.
It's one of those earworms, isn't it? It's every time when Eurovision rolls around and you're listening to the songs from the national final and you try and work out what are the songs that are going to be really good, what are the songs that are going to progress, make it to Eurovision. And this is one of the songs that I listened to pre sort of them being in the final of the Lithuanian selection and thought, if this gets through, this could do really, really well.
Yeah.
And it had the dance routine as well, and the dance routine is exactly what would have made it stand out on the night.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about. Is it a good song by itself, or is it the package with the staging that really sells it? Because would you listen to that and go, this is a good song. I would say, yeah, it's a good song, but not stand out necessarily. Does it have to rely on at the stage?
I think in previous years maybe it would have stood out because it would have stood out as a really interesting act, really good choreography. I think Eurovision 2020 we've seen a bit of that from a few other countries, so whether it wouldn't have stood out as much as it could do. It's a bop.
Oh, it is.
I still think it's a bop. But there's not many lyrics in it, actually. It's another one of those where...
It's not lyrically challenging, is it?
It's really not. I think me and you could probably try and remember the lyrics in about the next 10 minutes and we'd have the song pretty much down.
Should we try?
I'm not going to try. Don't want to. Here's Lithuania.
North Macedonia now, and their song is called You. Not me, You.
You.
Rob, You.
An original name, we've never heard that in Eurovision before, no one's ever called their song that.
And it's performed by Vasil.
Like Basil like Basil.
Basil like Basil.
Apparently is how you pronounce it.
It seems we're just going off course here. We've got a lot to talk about this song.
I think we're trying to sort of go around the houses and
Tiptoe around this one, aren't we?
talk that much about the song. It's alright, it sounds like if you are... What's happened here is you and your mates have decided that you want to go on an Eastern European break. You pick a rogue Eastern European city and you think, I'll tell you what we'll do on our first night there, we'll go on a night out. You see a nightclub, you don't really know much about that nightclub, you walk down some stairs into it, it's a very dark room that you enter, this song is playing. This song is playing and you know things are going to get a little bit weird.
Yeah.
That's what I would say about this song.
You know, the picture you painted there looks like the music video.
Yes, I've heard a lot about this, I've not watched it myself.
Have you not?
Seems to be paying a lot of attention to the barman, not a lot of attention to anyone else in the bar.
Yeah, he's having a dance routine with a lady who's caught his eye, let's say. But
that was nicely put. That was very nicely
very
put.
polite. Yeah, but he does seem to have his attention elsewhere, shall we say.
Yeah, Macedonia are a really interesting one in terms of Eurovision because they won the jury vote last year.
Out of nowhere.
I don't think Macedonia could ever have dreamed of being at the top of the scoreboard,
No.
So they had a great result last year.
Because in the few years beforehand, they had a bit of a rocky run, didn't they?
Well, they're always one of those that's always sort of borderline. Are they going to qualify?
Yeah,
always.
That's absolutely right. And then they said after the 2018 contest, they said, "Don't worry, in 2019, we're going to come back. We're going to come back with something big." And boy, was he right, weren't they?
They really were. They really, really were. I mean, Macedonia, for me, peaked in 2004. Eurovision fans, for any of you that are listening, their entry in 2004, Life, name of the song, YouTube if you want to, excellent song. But Macedonia this year, not quite living up to the heights. Anyway, here he is, Basil like Basil.
Give it to me. I just wanna dance with you. Tonight I just wanna dance with you. You know you I wanna dance with you.
So Ireland have not had a great time in Eurovision over recent years. They're back. Leslie Rowe, Story of My Life.
Yeah.
It's a little bit dated, but that's not to say I don't enjoy it.
It's not a bad thing, it's got sort of Katy Perry vibes, Pink vibes, that sort of thing, and they do fairly well, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. It's interesting that she was picked to represent Ireland, because she doesn't live in Ireland. She lives in New York, I think.
That doesn't stop countries from over Europe just picking and choosing.
The UK's last winner was from America, so we don't discriminate.
So maybe it's a good thing.
Could be a good
There you
thing.
go.
Could be a good thing when Eurojury 2020 is concerned. But yeah, Ireland. It's always a mixed bag. Like it's always either something really, really good, or just not there at all. This is from a country that 12 years ago. 12 years. Can you believe it's 12 years ago that they sent Dustin the Turkey to Eurovision?
You've just got to think about their history. 7 wins? Is it 7?
Most wins ever.
Exactly. They've got so much history and prestige behind them. And then they go pick something like that from a few years ago. But I think they're moving in the right direction now.
No, they really. I mean, Lilley Rowe herself, she's a big deal songwriter.
Yeah, she's written for the likes of Adam Lambert, Medina as well.
Yeah, Medina. I don't know if you remember Medina. She had a big song out last summer called "The First Time," I think it was called. So she's very sort of contemporary.
Yeah.
She's really sort of got a finger on what people are listening to right now, which is what makes Story of My Life interesting. 'Cause it's not quite what I would say. It doesn't quite sound 2020.
Next up, Iron.
Story of my life is mine. I made it on my own. There's a reason to sing. Na 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 na. My life is mine. My life is the story of my life. That's right. There's more to me than meets the eye. And now I sing. Na 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 na. My life is mine. My life is mine. My life, yeah, I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna believe it's right. My life, yeah, I gotta believe me. Yeah, I gotta believe it's right. I don't care what you say.
Last one of the first half now, and it is Russia. We could talk for a long time about this one. couldn't we?
Love this song. If
So
you can call it a song, I think you can.
Of course it's a song. So it's Little Big. The song is called Uno, and they've chosen a little bit of Spanish in there for this year, when they've had a good string of results in English. The rest of the song predominantly in English, but it's very fun, very catchy, very memorable.
I'm not sure if Spanish is the best choice for them. A song in Spanish hasn't won, I think, since '69.
Have you been checking in your encyclopedia before?
I have. You may see, if you can see, there's some books around and about. It's just the history of Eurovision. We're in the Eurovision archive. We're not, but I really wish we were. But Little Big are huge.
Oh, the archive.
They are massive. How many billion? Was it 500 million views? You were saying they've had on one of their songs before?
Yeah, Skibbity, I think it was called. Skibbity, I think that's right. Almost 500 million views on YouTube for that song.
I mean, I once made a YouTube video, 6 views. I mean, it's out there somewhere if you want to look at it. It was me trying to do the high jump at PE. But anyway, sidebar. Back to Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, of any song
Yeah.
in Eurovision 2020 is stuck. It doesn't get out of your head
Yeah.
in an infuriating but also very enjoyable way.
What I want to ask you though, is this a joke entry? Because Russia are very straight-laced. You know, they want to win every single year.
Yeah.
And they send really powerful, strong songs usually. This isn't strong and powerful, but more fun and catchy. Would this work?
But they only send joke entries if they still think they're going to win.
Well, yeah, because
They
you
would-
think 2012.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say, yeah.
You know, they sent the singing grannies baking cookies on stage. They finished second.
Never going to see a cookie oven on the Eurovision stage
Don't
ever
think
again.
that's ever going to happen, right?
Exactly, they finished second. I think these girls could have won because they've got such a big following in Eastern Europe. They could have won Eurovision this year easily, but who knows? Who knows how they're going to get on? Let's take a listen to Russia. So welcome back to the first semi-final of Eurojury 2020. First song in the second half is Israel. Now, they hosted it last year, of course. Netta is not back in 2020.
She's not.
We've seen enough of her for a little while, I think.
We couldn't escape her last year, could we?
I mean, if she wants to get back in that plane again from the opening sequence, I'll happily see her again.
Very fun.
But I think we've seen last of her for a little while. Eden Alen, their entry for Eurovision 2020.
Yeah.
That's a bop, isn't it?
It really is. Something really...
Fekalibi.
There you go, you remember it in the end. Really fun, catchy song, you know, a really young, talented artist. She's got the stage presence for it, hasn't she?
She does, she does. I've said this to other people. I think it sounds a bit like a junior Eurovision entry.
Okay.
That's not a bad thing. There have been
not
some
necessarily a bad
bangers in junior Eurovision over recent years. Israel always sends something interesting. There is always something interesting to say
It's a very...
about Israel songs.
It's a very choice word there. Interesting.
Well, they're never bland. I think they've always
yeah.
got something going on. I mean, even last year when they were hosting it, I think Home, their entry last year, it was so emotional, it was really powerful. And then this year, something completely different.
That's absolutely right. Last year, really pulled at the heartstrings. This wants to get you up off your feet and, you know, do a little bit.
And we've seen them do that before, haven't we? We've seen Golden Boy,
Oh man, when
the
that-
bop of all bops in 2015.
Yeah, 5 years ago, and that is still one of, you know, the biggest and most fun tracks from the past few years. And I think this really had potential to be something like that, didn't it?
And you've got to feel really sorry for these artists of Eurovision 2020, and especially Eden, because she was on Israeli TV the day that Eurovision was cancelled, and she was in tears, and it's just so hard for people of their age as well. A lot of the Eurovision contestants are so young. And she's 19, 20. She's not very old at all.
She's not, and it was so difficult to watch her there when she was, you know, she clearly just found out the news, and you know, for her to be so young and affected by that, at, you know, such a young age, so hard to watch. Next up, we've got Israel. Croatia now. Their entry is Demir, and that's all I've got right now.
I mean, he's lucky to be there. He's lucky to be there. He drew, I think, in the Croatian national final with the act that came second, and it went down to televote, I think. So almost as close. Some would say closer than Melody Festival this year.
Very true, yeah. And that would resort to the televote, which was separated by 300 votes.
I mean, if you think about all the people that are going to be watching, it's not a lot of people to be separated by,
That
is
is
it?
very
Like,
true,
it was
yeah.
so close.
Yeah.
But Croatia, do better is my
Do you know what?
overall feeling about Croatia. Not this song particularly. This song's okay.
Yeah.
But Croatia as a nation, geographically,
Yeah.
in terms of where they're positioned in Europe,
Is this another one of these countries you've been to?
I have been to Croatia
Speak the language?
3 times. Hrvatska, Croatia in its native language, if you're interested.
He's good.
That's all I've got. Yeah. And lovely orange roofs in Croatia. But geographically located in the centre of Europe, you think they could rely on the Balkan vote, they could rely on maybe a bit of Italy, a bit of Central Europe in there. Never do that well.
No. You know, I could pick a country, I could say Sweden, the Netherlands, Belgium. You could reel off loads of something. If I said you Croatia, pick some highlights.
Is this year. So Belgium, a country that have, in recent years, done pretty well in Eurovision, although not in the last couple of years. Hooverphonic, with a band that were representing them in 2020.
Yeah.
A song that sounds very much like it could have been a James Bond theme, if you ask me.
They've got history for this as well, because 2 years ago, Senec, with A Matter of Time, that was very Bond-esque as well.
And how did that do, James?
Okay, it didn't do too well.
How would this have done, James?
Comparison as well. who wrote Seneca's song? Alex Callier, who's from Hooverphonic.
This is a good fact.
It is a good... Do you want another one?
Yes.
Hooverphonic a few years ago.
I hope you're enjoying these as much as I am, because I am.
I've been reading your encyclopedia. So, Hooverphonic...
Which one of these books is it?
It's one of them, yeah. Hooverphonic did a collaboration a few years ago with Emily Satt from Madame Monsieur.
You're terrifying. You know you're terrifying. You need to get out more.
I've been digging up these facts from here, there and everywhere.
But Belgium are an interesting one because they alternate broadcaster, don't they, in terms of who selects their entry. So it means you always get something a little bit different from each. Each seem to have their own individual styles.
Yeah.
Blanche was a highlight.
Oh,
recently,
absolutely.
right? With City Lights.
Yeah. And like...
Sorry was a backing singer, wasn't she, for Blanche?
Hey, we've been doing some great fact
Look at these facts.
Like Mattei, he was a big name as well for Belgium. And this year, not the biggest song. It's good.
It's alright. See what you think. Here's Hooverphonic.
Azerbaijan are up next, and it is from Samira Effendi with Cleopatra.
In your accent, by the way, Samira Effendi is absolutely wonderful.
Sound good? Gold dust.
So enjoying. But Azerbaijan, eh? We've seen a lot from them.
We've seen it all, haven't we? An early victory in the contest, and then a few wobbles here and there. 2018, their first ever non-qualification to the Grand Final. And they're back this year with a song that was rumoured to be in contention for San Marino.
When you hear this song, when you listen to it, which obviously we'll do in a minute, you can't imagine this song for San Marino
You can't, can you?
at all. It sounds very much like an entry of Azerbaijan, sort of the style that they normally go for. Although I'm pretty sure there was a version, the demo version of this song I heard the other day.
Yeah.
It's pretty different.
Tango, I think, is the right word. It's pretty much the same song all the way to the end until the last 30 seconds when some of these bongo drums come out.
And I think San Marino would have kept them. I think if there was anything San Marino would have enjoyed, it would have been a bit of a bongo drum in the end.
It certainly would have been, yeah.
But Azerbaijan will win again. They will win again relatively soon.
Yeah, they put the effort in, don't they? Because with the victory in 2011, you would have thought with that, they're on a run, they're on a roll for another victory soon.
I mean, let's be honest, they've got the arena for it. They built it, it's there.
I wonder if they'd build another one.
I hope to think they would.
Just take it to another well-known
Every
Azerbaijan
time.
city.
Do you want to name one of the other Azerbaijani cities now, or...?
Yeah, we'll just put that on the screen now.
Here's Azerbaijan.
Sound like this. I can feel the spirit run from me. I can see it in my mind like a movie. Egyptian, Latin, the voices run through me. Comes to me. La 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 Cleopatra. La Cleopatra. La Cleopatra.
So Romania internally selected Roxanne as their entry for Eurovision 2020. I was going to say she had 5 songs to choose from. She didn't choose them, the public chose them. They chose Al For You as their entry. It's a good ballad because it's different. It's not kind of your identikit sort of ballad that you would hear from a lot of countries in that area of Europe where they end up just shouting a lot.
Yeah.
This had more than that.
It really does, and you say it's like a ballad, but it sounds like a modern ballad. For some pop songs, you can say, "Oh, that was very of this era, it was very of that era.
Yeah.
And a ballad is very difficult to sort of pinpoint on a year sometimes, but this, you could say, that is a really modern ballad, isn't it?
But I don't think that's a surprise, because that song, written by the same songwriter, and this will blow your little minds, written by the same songwriter as Timber by Pitbull and Kesha. No.
Oh,
Pause. Hold on. Let them. That's enough time for you to think about that.
Yeah. Remarkable, isn't
Unbelievable.
it? It really, and that songwriter is written for some really big names across the US and the UK. Flo Rida as well. I think he's written
Ollie
for,
Murs.
you know, some really big names. So to have him writing your Eurovision song, that is big, isn't it?
It is, and I was hoping that Romania would be able to do really well this year. They've had a really difficult time recently. Esther Peony didn't qualify last year. The Humans didn't qualify the year before. In 2016, they weren't even in it.
Oh, yeah, you know, financial problems meant they couldn't participate. Really rocky road there. And Ovi as well.
It's about time he came back.
It is.
Isn't it?
2010, 2014.
Him and that circular piano.
The circular
Bring
piano.
it back. Bring it back.
Next up, Romania.
I'll call you when I'm drunk.
Ukraine now, and they're represented by Go A with Solove.
Easy to remember.
Easy to remember. Quick rendition.
I'll do the bird song. You know the bird bit? The little whistle? Yeah?
Oh,
sort of.
he's good, isn't he?
Ish, maybe.
The song itself.
Sorry, there's dogs everywhere just coming. Just coming.
It's great to have Ukraine back because, of course, they almost competed last year. I was going to do the but in the end they didn't bit there, but they didn't compete. It was all the drama with Rowe.
They would have won last year.
Hands
Saying it now.
down.
They would have won if
Hands.
Marov had gone.
And it was such a shame that last year they had to withdraw because of all the very complicated reasons around it.
But two very different songs, but two very similar songs. If you look at Marov last year, if you look at Go Away this year, they're both very, this sounds like a stupid thing to say, they're both very Ukrainian in feel. You know it's Ukraine's entry.
Yeah, that is very true. They've got some similarities in there, haven't they? And yet they are very different songs. This would have, in a good way perhaps, this would have stood out. Doesn't sound like anything else you would have heard this year, does it?
No, not at all. This is the first time Ukraine have ever sent an entry entirely in Ukrainian, which is crazy to think that Ukraine have been in Eurovision ever since 2003.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a lot more of this around Europe. We're seeing a lot more countries who seem willing to send songs in their own language again, which is, we're going back to the way Eurovision was when you had that rule in place in the 90s. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see what might happen.
Let's take a listen to Ukraine.
So next up, a song that sounds just like my favourite TV show. I don't know if you've listened to this. It sounds just like dun 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 dun. I mean, you've got it at home already from that rendition, obviously. Love Island.
It sounds like the Love Island theme.
Sounds like the Love Island theme. This is Sandro for Cyprus. Sandro for Cyprus itself is worth talking about. Sandro for Cyprus, despite, now let's try and remember this, Greek mother,
Yeah.
American father,
Yeah.
brought up in Germany.
He had a lot of choices, didn't he?
Didn't he?
And chose Cyprus.
Well, he's represented America before in a contest.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of the New Wave contest, which you will have done, which is a kind of Russian thing. The Baltic nations are a big, they're very heavily involved in it. He represented America in it. So he's no stranger to a big, major music singing competition. How would he have done in Eurovision this year?
Let's say not as well as the past couple of years. Because they had Fuego in 2018. And
Absolutely robbed. The fact you've brought it up upsets me.
We shouldn't talk about it, should we? And we had Tamta last year, which was quite fairly comparable to Fuego.
Sounded almost the same.
And they've gone down a totally different avenue this year.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with Cyprus because they always seem to try really hard. They're always one of the first countries to select their act, which normally gives a really good amount of time for kind of people to get excited about it. I don't know if anyone's got excited about Sandro this year.
Next up, Cyprus. Next up, Norway. And boy, have we got a lot to say about Norway this year.
60 years of Melody Grand Prix. We've seen a lot of songs from Melody Grand Prix and we've seen a lot of memorable Eurovision songs, haven't we?
Oh, we certainly have. And talking about Melody Grand Prix this year, supersized it this year.
Semi-finals, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4.
5.
5? Do you need 5?
And that proves that there was a lot more hurdles to cross this year, because if you were in Melody Grand Prix in the past, you were in the final.
Direct to finale.
There we go again.
Dodgy translation.
So it just meant you were in the grand final of it and you had to win that. But this year, you had the potential of having to win a semi-final and then graduate to the grand final itself.
And you had to beat the bastion of music in Norway, that is Ryan Alexander.
Oh, you're one of your favourites.
Oh, I love that man. Anyway, we're not talking about him, unfortunately, which I'm very sad about. Ulrike.
Yeah, so Ulrike managed to take victory this year, and she's taken part in Melody Grand Prix in the past. 2017 she took part, and with a really good song as well that year. Probably not as good as this year, because this year's song for her is fantastic. It's a ballad, and it's really strong and powerful.
Yeah, she's no stranger to a big sort of TV music competition either. I think she's done The Voice, she's done Idol in Norway, and my personal favourite, Ulrike fact, is that she was recently playing the role of Liesel in the Oslo version of The Sound of Music.
Oh wow, you've done some research today, haven't you?
Yeah, these encyclopedias, they're very useful, and it's all there.
What could Norway have done this year? Because if we think back to last year, topped the televote, didn't they? Spirit in the Sky.
And that was such a fan favourite. I don't think you're ever going to get a song from Norway really that's going to be as much of as a fan favourite as they were. Because Kano just, I don't know, there was something about them that just got the whole continent behind them, as shown on the big night. Because I remember being at the London Eurovision party last year, and they came on stage and the place was just rocking. And Norway seems to be able to send really likeable artists. They do a really good job of that. Alexander Rybak, of course, in 2009, but we've seen it so many times, Norway sending artists that people can really get behind. And I don't think Ulrike was one of them. I think Attention was a really good song, and we've already spoken about ballads in this semi-final. We know Romania, we've mentioned their ballad, but this was a ballad in its own right, but a ballad that really stood out for me.
Let's take a listen to Norway.
So we were due to see a Junior Eurovision winner on the stage in Rotterdam in 2020 because Malta were going to send Destiny to Eurovision with the song All of My Love, which might not have ended up being from Malta, might have ended up being from a different country.
That's absolutely right. So the rumour goes that it was submitted to Croatia, and they said no. And why on earth would they say no to a song like this?
It went on to become such a fan favourite, didn't it? I mean, when Eurovision was cancelled, it was a song that everyone was getting really, really excited about.
Yeah.
And I can see why, because Destiny herself is a personality that you can't help but love her, can you? Yeah, every time you see her take part in a competition, I know she was on Britain's Got Talent in the UK after she won Junior Eurovision. She won Junior Eurovision, so she'd already proved she could get the continent behind her. It would have been really interesting to see how she would have done in 2020.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, she's such a likeable character. You know, she's got so much fun and energy about her. You know, having the history at Junior Eurovision, especially for a lot of the Eurovision fans, she's got that so much support behind her already, and she's got a strong vocal as well. The song's great.
Well, the song written by Caesar Sampson, of course, who topped the jury vote himself, I think, when he represented Austria.
Yeah. So overall, it's a massive package, and this really would have done well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, Malta is a country that there are now very few of the countries now that have never won Eurovision. Yeah. There aren't many out there. We've seen a lot of first-time winners recently, so that list of countries that haven't won Eurovision before is narrowing. It's not Eurovision, it's Eurojury. Who knows how she'll do? Who knows how she'll do in the semi-final? Here's Destiny.
Sing about you, dream about you all the time. Don't wanna live without you. Oh no, don't wanna live without you. Sing about you, dream about you all the time. Don't wanna live without you. All of my life, like a river running wild. Every brother, mother, child. Now we found each other. Don't let me down. All my love, like a river running wild. Every brother, mother, child. Now we found each other. Don't let me down. All my love, all the love I feel for you. All of my love, all the love I feel for you. Yeah. All the love I feel for you. All of my love, all the love I feel for you. Yeah. Cause there ain't no ocean deeper than my love for you, and there ain't no fire that I wouldn't break through. There ain't no mountain that I wouldn't move. Nothing that I wouldn't do for you. 'Cause you do it for me too.
Chi stoi in czakane koga, czaka droga.
Don't break me down, 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 down. Don't break me. Don't hurt me now, now, now. You thought I was a last take, but maybe I'm just made of glass. David now, David now. Została jedna. Ty moja wina. Została jedna.
I feel that I'm on fire. Tonight, give it to me.
I wanna dance, dance, dance. I wanna dance, dance, dance.
I just wanna dance with you.
Story of my life, it's mine. I made it on my own. There's a restaurant and you sing na 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 na. My life, it's mine. My life, it's the story of my life. Dance. it in my mind like a movie. Egyptian, Latin, the voices run through me. Come to me. La 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 Cleopatra. La 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 Cleopatra. I'll call you when I'm drunk. I swear it's 'cause you're not around. This pain's the only thing that I can refuse. They work me, but I think it's all.
You've now seen all of the songs from tonight's semi-final, and now it's your turn to vote for your favourites. Head over to eurojury.eurovoix.com right now to choose your 3 favourite songs from tonight's semi-final. Your votes really make a difference, but you only have a few more seconds left to vote. Remember, only 10 of tonight's songs can qualify for a place in the Grand Final of Eurojury 2020. Europe, stop voting now!
Que me quite lo bailao.
While we finalise all of the votes from tonight, let's wind the clock back to 2011 with a brand new and exclusive performance from Spain's Lucia Perez.
Y ahora que me quiten lo bailao. Me pellizco cada día, pienso que suerte la mía. No estoy soñando, es realidad. Vivo como en una nube, tengo lo que nunca tuve. Te tengo a ti todo lo que me
41 countries entered the Eurovision Song Contest this year. 35 of them have to take part in a semi-final, but 6 of them gain an automatic spot into the Grand Final. One of them is the Netherlands as last year's winner, with France, Italy, Germany, Spain and the United Kingdom forming the Big Five, the biggest financial contributors to the EBU. To make Eurojury as accurate as possible, we have granted these 6 countries an automatic spot in our Grand Final. Now let's take a listen to 3 of them now.
So the first of the countries we're going to talk about tonight that don't take part in a semi-final and go straight into our final is Italy. Now they are represented by Diodato with the song Fire Amore.
Yeah, San Remo, of course, is the way in which they end up with their Eurovision entry. Well, not necessarily. They can turn it down, the winner, if they want to, which we've seen in the past. And you know you're always going to get a good quality song that way, because San Remo itself is such a long, drawn out, we can't express how long and how drawn out a music competition it is. It's one with a longer history than Eurovision, of course. The Eurovision Song Contest originally, arguably, I think we know as a fact, came from San Remo.
Yeah, it's based on San Remo. It's a week-long music festival dedicated to Italian music, and you get all sorts in there, don't you? I don't know if you watched it this year, but there was some...
Not enough time on my hands.
Not enough time to sit there and sit at the TV for 18 hours on end, waiting for that grand final.
18?
It was probably longer, actually.
Almost a day just watching San Remo. And I like Eurovision, but I'm not sure I could dedicate that much time. But now, could Diodato, as you so wonderfully say, could he have done better than last year? Come on, we've got to do it. Soldi. Could have been at home, I hope.
Could he have done better?
Hey, sorry, he's crying at home after that rendition. I'm really sorry, Manu.
Could he have done better? Probably not, because that was one of Italy's strongest years in the past.
Well, it was a song as well that really picked up momentum. I think it was the most listened to Eurovision entry from last year on Spotify, for example.
Yeah, it got so much attention on Spotify, so much radio play across the continent, a load of plays on YouTube as well.
Also got played in a Italian restaurant in rural Yorkshire that we were in.
That was an interesting occasion.
Didn't expect to hear it there.
Absolutely not.
Would we have heard Diodato in there?
Maybe. It's not out of the question, is it?
Who knows?
But there was a lot of great songs in San Remo this year. A little bit of controversies on the side as well.
Tell me more.
Oh, so there was a couple of controversies. One act, there was a duo, a double act.
Mm-hmm.
And the...
Jedward?
No, probably the Italian version of Jedward.
Jedward,
Let's go with that for now. And they had a little bit of a spat during the week.
No.
They did.
What, they fell out?
They fell out during the week.
Is it like that amazing scene on YouTube that you sometimes see from the UK X Factor where one of them punches the other one during the... If you've not seen that, you must.
Do you know what? It is without the violence. Because one of them ends up walking off the stage.
During the
performance, they do about 10 seconds of the performance, and then he walks off the stage, and then couldn't be found for hours on end.
The San Remo itself is long enough. They had time.
They had the time to go and find him, yeah. But in the end,
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. We love a bit of controversy. It gets the questions coming out. It gets us talking, doesn't it?
It gets us talking. It really does. Here is Italy from 2020. This is Diodato. 2020 marks 10 years since Germany won Eurovision. Could they have done it again this year? I think they might have done. Then with Violent Thing, or Violent Thing, as he so wonderfully says it, just like that. I think it's a really, really good song.
It's a really good song. It's a really upbeat song. It's high tempo. It gets you moving, and it's so different to the choices they've had over the past few years. Because, like you mentioned, they started the decade with Victory, but I think they've finished bottom twice.
Yeah, it's not been good.
They might have finished lower than 20th on 3 other occasions. It's been a rocky road for Germany.
They've really changed things up, though, haven't they, this year? Because they scrapped the national final. They've kind of followed a number of other countries in doing that, scrapping the national final, internally selecting Ben, and also their entry this year, the singer at least, he's no stranger to competition across Europe for Eurovision. I think you were telling me the other day he was in EMA, I think.
Yeah, I think he took part in EMA and Slovenia as part of a band a couple of years ago. So he's no stranger to a stage to a European stage, and I think that would have really helped. It would have given him the confidence, especially going into the contest, would have taken place as well.
I think the big five this year have really stepped up. I don't know what you think, but this is Germany with Violent Thing.
Right here, I'm working all low. I'm waiting on something I need. I think that you know what I want. You got me on the edge of my seat. Oh, don't tell your mama what you doing tonight. 24 hours ago, you got that look in your eyes. Don't need your number, 'cause I know you'll be there. Happen all night and the beat don't lie with crystal clear. 'Cause if I got you with me tonight, feeling like I'm feeling tonight, don't tell your mama, you're such a violent thing. You're such a violent thing. Don't tell your mama. Ooh, you're such a violent thing.
The last of our songs we're going to hear tonight is from the Netherlands. Jingu McCroy is the performer for the Netherlands. They, of course, won last year and were due to host the contest this year, but of course it's been delayed, and it would have been a great show for the Netherlands this year.
Yeah, if there's a country that you've got to feel sorry for more than any other, of course, in 2020 it is the country that we're due to host it. Haven't won Eurovision since 1975, so haven't hosted Eurovision for a long, long time. I know they hosted it, I think, in 80 in The Hague, of course, but it's been so long for them, and they were set to host such a big show. Like some of the names that have been announced already, some of the stuff that had already been announced that we were going to look forward to seeing on the big night itself in Rotterdam. And Rotterdam itself would have been a great host city, so I don't know if you think it's going to host it again in 2021, whether they're going to do everything they can to keep it in Rotterdam next year.
It would be great if they were given the opportunity as well, because this opportunity to host in 2020 was obviously cruelly taken away from them, through no fault of their own, of course, and it would be a shame not to go to Rotterdam, because they would have put on a fantastic show there, and that would have, of course, happened because of Duncan Lawrence last year.
I saw Duncan Lawrence actually take to Instagram after it was announced that Eurovision had been cancelled, and he was so emotional about it, because I think, he knows that it was him, it was his song that had taken Eurovision to the Netherlands, and he thought for a moment that it might not happen, and the opportunity to host Eurovision might be snatched away from the Netherlands, which I don't think it will be. I think they're going to obviously get first refusal for 2021. Hopefully they will still host it. They will probably still host it in Rotterdam. But if they do, we already know that Jingu McCroy will be there in 2021 for the Netherlands.
That's right, probably the earliest ever artist announcement in Eurovision history. He's already been announced for 2021, about 13, 14 months in advance of the 2021 contest.
And it's interesting because I know a lot of artists across Europe have been saying, there's a lot of the artists that were due to represent their country in 2020 said that they wanted to use the same song in 2021. Not the case for Jingu.
And how would that have gone down then? Because his song, well, do you know what? I kind of like it, and I think it's got the right amount of attention.
It's different.
It is very different, but I think because it was going to be the host country, I think a lot of people view the host country song with a little bit of caution, because you'd think it's not going to get the attention it deserves or the popularity it deserves. Let's take a listen to the Netherlands.
One day I'll find some peace of mind, and then I'll stop being afraid I won't make it through the night. The more I learn, the less I know. Through every high and every low.
We now have a valid result. Let's find out the 10 qualifiers. The first country to qualify is Romania. Next to qualify is Sweden. The third country to qualify is Ukraine. The fourth country going to the Grand Final on Friday night is Malta. The fifth country to qualify tonight is Azerbaijan. 5 down, 5 to go. The next country to qualify is Lithuania. The seventh song qualifying from tonight's semi-final is Russia. The eighth song qualifying to Friday night's grand final is Australia. Our ninth country to qualify tonight is Israel. And finally, the 10th song to qualify to the grand final of Eurojury 2020 is Norway. That's it for tonight's semi-final, but don't forget to join us on Wednesday night for the second semi-final, as you once again have the opportunity to send 10 more songs to the grand final of Eurojury 2020 on Friday night. We'll also be back tomorrow night here on Showcase for a live talk show to debrief tonight's semi-final.